Hi, welcome to eSpares. I'm Matt. In this video, I'll be showing you how to fix the error code E12 on a Hoover condenser dryer. The error code E12 indicates that there is a problem with your pressure switch. Now, the pressure switch inside your machine controls the water level in your condenser dryer's drainage chamber. Along with the error code E12, you'll also hear a beep from the machine, as well as the empty water light lighting up as well. Let's get started. Before doing anything else, check to see if your water tank does actually need emptying. This is just to make sure the issue isn't simply a full water tank and nothing more. If you've checked this and the water tank doesn't need emptying, it means the issue is a faulty pressure switch that needs replacing. For this fix, you will need a pair of pliers, a flathead screwdriver, a nut runner with a 7mm socket and a 10mm socket, a Torx head screwdriver, in this instance the T20, a Phillips screwdriver, and also what's a great idea is some way of separating and holding the various screws that come out of the appliance. Now, safety first. Always unplug an appliance before carrying out any work. The next thing you need to do is to remove the top of the appliance by undoing the 3 screws at the back using a 7mm socket. You can then slide the top off the machine and safely put to one side. Next, remove the water container by simply pulling it out the front of the machine. Next, you'll need to remove the door. To do that, you'll need to undo the 2 screws that hold the hinge in place using your Torx T20 screwdriver. Then you'll need to remove the door seal on the front of the appliance by simply pulling it away from the lip that holds it in place. Then you can release the control panel from the front of the machine by undoing the 2 screws that hold it in place using your Phillips screwdriver. With the 2 screws removed, you can then lift up the control panel and rest it on the top of the machine. No need to remove completely. Then we need to remove the lower panel here. Simply grab a hold of it and pull it off. Next, this front panel needs to come off, and there's 8 screws holding it in place. So 2 here, 4 around the door, and 2 more up top. These are all Phillips head screws. So we'll start at the bottom. With all the screws removed, you can then lift away the front panel. And what you'll have to do is remove the electrical connections from the door lock to remove the panel completely. With the front panels removed, you can remove the electrical connection to the front NTC. We now need to remove the water container housing. Start by taking off the overflow pipe here using a pair of pliers to release the clip at the top. Pull down and then the hose should simply come off. Then remove the water inlet pipe. You should be able to just pull that one off like so. And then we can undo the 2 screws at the back using a Phillips head screwdriver. Then we need to remove the front ring assembly by again using your 7mm socket and undoing these 4 screws, one at each corner. To remove the front ring assembly, once the screws are removed, lift up and then pull out from the bottom. Then you can remove the water container housing, pull it towards you, making sure you don't trap any of the pipes. Then you'll need to remove the fan cover at the front bottom of the machine by undoing the 2 Phillips head screws. Next, you'll need to remove the fan that you can see there inside the machine. To do that, you need to take the nut and the washer off that holds it in place using a 10mm socket set. You'll also need to hold on to the fan so that you can unscrew it. Once the fan's removed, there is also a washer at the back of the shaft that needs to be taken out, like so. Next, remove the fan cover. Simply pull it towards you and then twist to remove. With the fan cover removed, you can see the belt and the pulley. What you need to do is take the belt off the pulley simply by pulling down and towards you continuously until it comes off. Be careful because it might come off suddenly. There we go. Then coming to the rear of the machine, we need to remove the heater cover. To do that, you need to unscrew the 12 Phillips head screws that hold it in place. Next up, we need to remove the 2 Phillips head screws that hold the heater assembly in place. And then lift the heater off. Then, once the heater's out of the way, we can undo both these screws which hold the drum in place. Again, Phillips head screws these. Now that the drum's unscrewed, you can lift it out carefully through the front of the machine. And here you can see the pressure switch. Now to remove, use a flat-headed screwdriver to push back the clip that holds it in place and lift up, and then remove this grommet that's around the base here. And then take off the electrical connections to remove the pressure switch completely. Now you need to transfer this grommet over onto your new pressure switch when the time comes. Otherwise, if you refit the new pressure switch without it, the air circulation to the switch will be compromised. Now, if this happens, the water chamber at the bottom of the machine will fill with water and overflow. And this can lead to water reaching the element, which you do not want. Do make sure as well that the grommet is not perished or damaged before putting on to your new pressure switch. Once you've removed the old pressure switch from your dryer, you're going to need to find a new one on the eSpares website. To do that, you'll need the model number of your appliance. If you're unsure about what the model number is for your appliance, check out our video here, which has tips on how to find the model number for your appliance. Once you have your new pressure switch, it may look a bit different to the original one, but don't worry. As long as you've purchased the correct switch for your particular model of tumble dryer, the part will work just fine. As you can see here, for example, our new pressure switch is a bit smaller than the original, and the terminals are located in different positions. However, the terminals are still numbered the same as before. So for instance, we took the electrical connections off number 1 and number 3 off the old one. So you'll need to put the electrical connections on 1 and 3 on the new one. To fit your new pressure switch with the grommet attached to the shaft at the bottom, simply push the shaft into the hole as far as it will go. And then turn it so it's held into place by this clip here. You can then reconnect the electrical connections on 1 and 3 like the old pressure switch. Now you've fitted your new part, what you have to do is refit the drum. To do that, you need to line up this cutout on the back of the drum to this cutout on the back of the machine when you're putting the drum back in. Now coming to the back of the machine, when it comes to re-screwing the drum in, you can simply lift it a little towards you to align the drum hole with the hole in the back of the machine before fixing your screw. Now do be careful of any sharp edges on the metallic parts of the drum and the machine itself. To refit the heater, just hook these 2 hooks over this lip here at the back of the machine, and it should slot into place. Then you can refit the 2 screws. Refit your heater cover. Now you can go to the front of the dryer and refit the belt. So position the belt around the drum and hook it over the motor spindle at the bottom. Then spread the jockey wheels to make sure the belt is fitted properly. Now remember, the ribbed side of the belt must be touching the drum and therefore the motor spindle at the bottom. That's where the grip is. And move 1 wheel at a time and push the belt over the wheel. Now repeat this for the other jockey wheel too. With the belt on the spindle and in between the 2 jockeys, just give the drum a spin just to make sure the belt's in the right position. Next, refit the fan cover. Obviously this hole here goes around the spindle and these 2 ridges slot in at the back. And these 2 ridges at the front slot in here at the front of the machine. So twist it as you put it in and then you can fit it correctly. Next we need to refit the fan. So grab the large washer and put that on the spindle first. And refit the fan itself. Make sure you push it hard to get it fully over the spindle. And then you can refit the outer washer and the nut using your 10mm socket set. Make sure you hold the fan when you tighten it so the screw goes on nice and tight. You can then refit the fan cover. And replace the screws. Then you can pop in your water container housing. And screw it into place at the back. Refit your outlet pipe using a pair of pliers just to make sure this clip goes back onto the tube securely. Next, you need to refit your outer ring assembly. Now, there's two upward facing hooks on the left and right hand side. These go up and in to the chassis on the same sides as well. And then at the bottom, there's hooks that fall into place in the chassis down here. Now make sure that your outlet pipe is on the outside, and also on the right hand side the wiring is on the outside as well. Reconnect the overflow pipe to the water container. Again, using a pair of pliers just to make sure that this clip is nice and secure. And then you can refit the 4 screws using your 7mm socket. Once it's screwed into place, reconnect the electrical connection. Reconnect the electrical connections to the door lock, and then you can screw the main front panel into place. Replace the lower front cover, top end first, and then the bottom just slots in. Next, you can refit the control panel. Just slide the bottom left-hand corner of the control panel under the water container housing, and then you can refit the 2 screws left and right. Next, refit the water container. Then you can refit the door seal and then the door. Place the hinge in to the machine with the door wide open. Then that'll set it, and then you can fit the screws. Then you can slide on the top and refit the 3 screws at the back. So there we have it. One new pressure switch fitted to this Hoover condenser dryer in order to fix the error code E12. Now that your machine is up and running again, it's a great idea to check out our video down here, how a tumble dryer works. So you can get the very most out of your machine and make sure you're using it efficiently and effectively. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for all things related to maintenance advice, repair guides, product demos, and all things eSpares. Thanks for watching.